So you got to hear this. This is hilarious. A trucking company that we know called me the other day, and he said to me, he was trying to hire a driver, right? And I guess he did hire the guy. But he said, you got to hear this. He said, you ain't going to believe this. He said, the guy filled out an application for him. And then on this one company, he put down terminated. The guy was fired, right? And he did the reference check with the company, and the company said company policy violation, indecent exposure. No, you got to hear this.
Okay.
It's not like you think it is, right? You go, oh my gosh, indecent exposure. Woo, he's a perv, right? No.
Right.
No. Apparently the company has inward-facing cameras. You know what I'm getting at, right? So the dude's like, he called the guy up and he said, you know, what's going on? What's this reference and what does this mean? He said, look, they had inward-facing cameras, and I sleep naked in my truck, and my curtain was back, and they turned the camera on. He said, I don't care. You call it what you want, but it's my home. I'm going to sleep the way I want to. He said, so guess what? They got a show. They got to see my junk. And he got fired for I guess they said he got fired because he was naked in front of the camera. Well, guess what, trucking company with inward-facing cameras? You shouldn't be a peeping Tom. Actually, the trucking company should be noted as a peeping Tom.
They should be up on privacy charges because it's a privacy act. They already knew, dispatch knew he would be on his downtime at that moment. They knew when his downtime would be.
When are those cameras supposed to come on?
Only when there's an incident.
Right, like if you swerve real hard,
quick braking,
or an accident,
yeah.
It'll go back and start looping,
exactly.
So many minutes prior to see what the driver was doing, right?
Correct.
And all these trucking companies that have inward-facing cameras, what do they tell these drivers? Oh, to get them in the door, what do they say? Oh, we don't watch you, we don't look at you, right?
Right.
He said, it's only when something happens is when it starts recording.
Yeah, it does like a notification that it, recognized a sudden movement or something like that, It will say that, like a notification, and start recording, and that's when they know it's actually doing it.
Yeah, these companies should be ashamed of themselves. He said, actually, the driver told him, he said, a couple weeks prior to him being fired for indecent, exposure, hey, I don't call that indecent exposure. It's your truck, dude.
Showing the junk in the bunk.
Showing the trunk in the... Oh, Ruth Ann, you just waited for that one.
I was.
Showing your...
Junk in the bunk, man.
Showed my junk in the bunk. So, anyway, so check it out. So he said a couple weeks before that, right, I guess he had his wife with him. Yeah, and no, they didn't see his wife. But a couple weeks prior to this, I guess him and his wife were arguing while they were going down the road. And he got a message saying, stop, you and your wife should not be fighting. It's unsafe. Just because they're arguing, right? And so guess what? They're listening in on his conversations too.
That is that's beyond that. That's a privacy issue there.
This is again, these trucking companies.
And that's a big known company?
I'm not going to say the name of the company. But it's a mid-sized company, I guess. And they basically, again, they tell drivers, hey, we don't look at the cameras, only an incident happened, wink, wink. And then they get you in the door. And all that BS of, you can trust us goes right out the door. I mean, that's terrible. And there's one right there on a reference saying indecent exposure.
I'm curious. Is it dispatch that watches them? Safety that, like, who would just decide that all of a sudden they're just going to watch them? I'm wondering who it would be. Because if it's safety, then that safety director needs to, they need to pull and see how many other people he's watching, or is it just this guy? Is it a chosen 10? You know what I mean? Like, see what's going on there. I would have that investigated because it could be the safety director doing, unprofessional mannerisms in the office and not the company itself. The company might be telling the safety director it's only supposed to be these times, and the safety director is doing it without the company's knowledge that he's doing these types of actions.
Here's my question. If a truck driver is sleeping, right?
And you know it because his ELD is already shown that he's on downtime.
Correct. He's
in the berth.
He's on his 10-hour. He's sleeping. And what possible reason could you, as a safety director or a dispatcher or operations or whoever, what possible reason could you have for literally wanting to look in on that driver?
There's none.
Yeah, there's
absolutely none. There's none, unless there is an like where you felt, like if the bunk or the actual tractor itself, how sometimes they would shake. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if there was something like, when you get up in it, if they got something like that where it would have been hit, the cameras would go on. That would be the only time when a driver is on his downtime that those cameras should have had any form of activating, where it would seem like the bunk was hit, or not the bunk, but the tractor was hit while at rest, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Because I was going to say maybe being broken into, but you're not going to know it's being broken into by they're doing it gently. They're not going to slam it hard enough for the cameras to be activated. So that would be the only time that I would say that that anybody has the right for the cameras to be activated, is if someone, another tractor was backing in and bumped the
whatever. But anything that's due to a hard hit or something.
Exactly, a hard enough hit to make it
go
off.
So there's no. All I'm saying is there's absolutely zero reason for any of you trucking companies out there that think you have the right to just look in on that driver while he's sleeping. I would tell you, okay, that if I don't know if legally, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually don't know the legal loopholes of that, being that it's their truck. But I think the company should be honest with the driver, and if they would say to these drivers, yeah, we can look in on you anytime, they wouldn't have. I'm going to tell you something, just so everybody knows this. J.B. Hunt had cameras. Everybody knew it. And J.B. Hunt took the cameras out. Now, yeah, exactly. Now, this is a big company. Now, my guess, and this is just surmising, but my guess would be what happens is when you have cameras, you trucking companies that think your inward-facing cameras are something really good for you, right? And maybe, I don't know if they get an insurance break. But here's what happens when you have a lot of drivers. When drivers have accidents and they pull those cameras, and then it shows that the driver was distracted, maybe reached for a coffee, or he dropped a cigarette, or whatever the case is, he reached down, right, at that accident. Guess what? You now have no defense, zero defense.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think, again, I don't know JB's reasoning.
Right.
But you would have to think with thousands of drivers, you have many little incidents and accidents, honestly, you do, the bigger you are. You would have to think that a lot of those were kind of going against them when they pulled that camera. So you trucking companies out there think you're really doing well with those inward-facing cameras. You get a driver that messes up really, really bad, and it's on camera, they're going to subpoena that, and you're going to lose hands down. So I would tell you, those cameras can hurt you a lot more than they can help you.
The inward-facing, I would say, definitely, because, I don't know. They could save you a lot, but they can really, like you said, they really can hurt you if you have drivers that, it's those little incidences just pile up, and next thing you know, you've got a lot of little ones.
Outward-facing cameras are great, honestly, because somebody cuts the driver off, it's all plain to see. Even ones that are on the side, that go down the side and all that other stuff, it really helps to show that. A camera in the back, you know what that shows? Anybody that's trying, like, to cause accidents on purpose, like they were doing in Louisiana to get claims, that you could go over those videos and see who was trolling you, for so many miles. You could see patterns.
Right.
It's all good to have those cameras around the truck. I agree with that 100%. But to have the driver on camera, I'm telling you right now, first off, it's not good for the driver's morale. Number two, you may regret having that camera on the driver someday, depending on the accident. So anyways, that's all I wanted to tell you.
Even the more I'm sitting here thinking it, even if it was an inward facing camera and it got an accident while it was in the sleeper berth, the camera will still go on the outside to show a tractor if it bumped it.
That's right.
So really, the inward-facing cameras, if the driver's on it, their downtime, on their sleeper berth time, on whatever it is, it shouldn't really be going. They should not be active at all.
Okay. That's it. That's all.
That's my 2 cents.
That's your 2 cents.
That's my 2
and mine,
cents.
that makes 4 cents altogether.
We're still not a nickel.
We're out of here.